Hey, Bobby.
Hello, how are you today?
Doing well, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. This week has
I
just gone
know.
by.
Definitely. Hello, we'll get started in a few minutes here.
All right, thank you. Hi.
We'll get started in a couple minutes. Thanks for everyone for joining. Hi, Joey.
Hello, Amy Croucher. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm enjoying the sunshine.
Oh,
Normally,
yeah,
right? And it's warm
right?
too.
It's a little overcast in Turner, but I'll take
Oh,
it. At
I like
least it's not
Turner.
raining.
I went to Willamette University, and Turner's not far from there.
Nope, not at all.
Introduction to Oregon was
Right.
Salem, Oregon. And where else? Dallas. Dallas as well. Not
Mhm,
the Dallas, Dallas, Oregon. Spent my 18th birthday
exactly.
there. Yeah.
All right, we are at time. We'll see if Amina, are you on? I don't see her. I was hoping she could admit folks. I'll go ahead and admit folks while I do the introduction. So please bear with me. Hello and good afternoon. On behalf of the Oregon Project Management Advisory Board, welcome to our Project Management User Group presentation of the month. My name is Amy Croucher, member of the OPMAB, and I will be facilitating our meeting today. We'd like to start with a few housekeeping items. As you may have noticed, this meeting is being recorded. Please mute your phone or PC if not speaking to help reduce any background noise. If you're not speaking, you are encouraged to remain off camera A link to the meeting resources will be shared shortly after today's sessions and posted on the DAS YouTube channel and OPMAB website. If you have any questions or comments, please raise your digital hand and Joey will respond to them throughout the presentation as she is able. The Oregon Project Management Advisory Board has an opening for an ambassador position and 2 board member positions. So for more information and to apply, use the links in the chat. Also, if you're interested in business analyst processes, the Business Analyst Networking Group meets every even-numbered month. For more information, visit the BANG website posted in the chat. The Oregon Agile Community of Practice is also an OPMAB initiative. For information, its website is also posted in the chat. You're welcome to share with your colleagues and encouraged to spread the word on our PMUG Wednesday sessions. They can request to be added to the combined listserv using the link in the chat. And also, the OPMAB has launched a project management mentorship program. Please select the link in the chat for more information and to sign up to be a mentor. Now I'll introduce our presenter for the day. Joey Rosano is the Performance System Administrator for the Oregon Department of Human Services, which is a framework and set of tools that prioritizes, connects, enables, and drives the execution of all their work to ensure that every resource drives toward a shared vision so that the organization can achieve its goals. It brings clarity, transparency, and accountability to the work we do on behalf of Oregonians we serve. She has used Smartsheets since 2016 and hosts 2 training sessions every month for beginning and advanced users and offers open office hours as well. Joey holds Smartsheet professional certifications in core app, system administration, project management professional certifications in, build the project management builder path, and has been selected as a Smartsheet overachiever for the class of 2025-2027. She will be showing PMUG what Smartsheet is, how it is different from other project management tools available to state users, and premium features that might meet a need for a solution you are looking for. Without further ado, please take it away, Joey.
Thank you so much, Amy. I am so excited because we talked about this probably 6 months ago. And so I love this group. I love coming to all the presentations. And so the reason I say that is we had the Smartsheet presentation a couple of years ago. And so this will be an update to that. As she said, my name is Joey Rosano. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And the reason that I mentioned performance management in the intro, I had her mention it, is because we used to use Excel when I was at Public Health. And my manager at the time said, there's got to be a better way for reporting. Go out and find it. And this was the result of that search. And that is why, that's what led me to Smartsheet in the first place. But because of its flexibility and scalability, it's kind of grown on its own. So I have a lot to cover, and I am going to share my screen. So let me make sure I do this right. I'm going to come here and add sound because we have some videos. Here. And let's see. I know that Amy said that I could answer questions, but I can't really see who's on. So I'm just going to go through this. Okay.
I will monitor for hands up and questions in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we have our new logo for ODHS. We just changed that. And here's the update to the last one, I was very surprised how much has changed in the last couple of years. So these are the topics that I'll be covering. As you can see, it's quite a lot. I will send out the presentation afterwards, and it will have links to all of these different pieces of the software. So, and a couple of them are in the notes, in case you want to explore it on your own. So, as Amy said, I am an overachiever. And so so they have an annual conference up in Seattle, and that's me right in the front with Chizu and Karen and Will. And overachiever is, they have about between 300 and 500 applications every year, and they pick 12 or 13 people. So I was just incredibly honored to be selected. And again, am in a cohort. So I have access to all these brilliant minds, and each one of them represents Smartsheet solutions all around the world. And it's an awesome group to be a part of. They're not going forward, I think. Sorry about that. Here we go. This is a short video which will introduce you to Smartsheet. If you haven't seen it at all, I could not do a better job, so I wanted everybody to do less than 2 minutes.
Smartsheet is a cloud-based dynamic work platform that empowers teams and organizations to capture, plan, and manage all their work in one intuitive, flexible, and scalable experience. Starting from a simple grid view to capture tasks and milestones, team members can switch to Gantt, card, or calendar view to fit the way they work. Same data, flexible views. Share and collaborate on your work easily with people inside and outside your organization. Review and comment on content right in the sheet with the simple, streamlined approval process. Set up automated workflows like reminders and updates to keep work moving. Create custom forms to collect error-free, consistent data that flows right into your sheet. Compile information from multiple sheets into easy-to-build reports. Roll reports, charts, and other real-time data into interactive dashboards to share across your organization, or create a customized, no-code app to fit your team's specific needs. And all of this integrates with your favorite business tools with enterprise-grade security and controls. You can start from scratch or use one of our many proven, pre-built, and optimized templates or solutions to speed your execution and accelerate your time to value. Enable your teams to move faster and achieve more with Smartsheet.
Let me make sure I didn't skip anything. Okay, there we go. So that gives you an idea of all the capabilities. Now, the one thing I want to mention was these are all of the things that I know about Smartsheet. There may be things that I don't know, just because we work at the state. So what that was showing you was the retail version, which is available to everyone as the core app, which is why it's important to differentiate between core app features and premium features. Many of the state, so when you have a license, you automatically have the core app, but premium features cost extra. We work for the government, so not everybody has the funding for that. And so I just wanted to reiterate that this is not like a canned presentation. It's what I wanted to introduce off the top of my head. So please feel free if you have information that contradicts what I'm saying. I welcome that. The reason that Smartsheet is so different, it looks like Excel, but it acts like a combination of a variety of products: Access, Outlook, Power Automation, Excel, Adobe, Teams. It has collaboration and messaging, chatting, emails, all these kinds of things. So the biggest frustration that people say is, I'm a terrific Excel user and I just don't get Smartsheet. I don't get it. And I said, well, it's not Excel. If you have a financial analysis or something like that, Excel is the answer. So versus Smartsheet, it's a different animal, and it's more for project management, which is why it's appropriate for this group, than it is for any one other thing, but it's also very flexible. And anyway, so the other reason why it's unique to any other platform I've seen is that there are these levels of permissions. So when you have a license, you're automatically an owner. If you look at this chart, that's all the way over on the right. The reason you want to be an owner is each of the assets in the software have to be basically assigned to the owner, right? So they're the ones who can create and maintain the structure of the database, if you think of it that way. So there are very few things that an admin, which is the next level, cannot do. And this is just a snapshot of the permissions chart. That's why I put the URL in here, because they have differing abilities depending on your level of permissions given to you by the owner. So the owner can do everything. The admin can do almost everything. The editor can edit what they are shared with, and there are two levels that they can share it and they can't share it. So if you're an editor and you cannot share, you can edit your own stuff, basically, but you can't share it with someone else and have them share it. You would have to have an admin or owner share it with you. So it's similar to SharePoint in a lot of ways. Let's see, and then commenter and viewer as well. Commenter is you can look at it and you can make a note about it, but you can't touch it. And viewer is you can look but not touch. So the only one of those levels that requires a license is owner. And so that's a surprise to a lot of people, but that's why I said majority of users don't need a license. If you do have a license, you have enhanced functionality at all four other levels. But the other thing too is that during COVID, it became very popular because it was much more stable working with external collaborators. So for instance, community-based organizations or other state agencies, county, city, district, those types of things, it's a little more stable and a little more intuitive because of some of the features, which I'll show you later.
There is a question in the chat, Joey,
Yes.
that asks, what is the license level? And in parens, it says gov, comma, enterprise, comma, business that ODHS uses. And there's a follow-on question to that after that.
Okay, so I do cover it later, so that's
Okay.
great. But ODHS and OHA have an enterprise level up to security level 3.com retail version. We've been grandfathered in from the single sign-on requirements that they tried. There are some .gov accounts within ODHS, but for the most part, if you're in ODHS or OHA, it's a .com version level 3, and there are some accounts that have some premium features as well.
Also,
question.
Also, has Smartsheet approached ODHS with their new license model, changing the requirements for licensed users?
Yes, I believe they have, but I'm not the system administrator anymore. The question for that specifically for ODHS, the system administrator is Nicole Elsie, that's spelled E-L-C-E. I had reached out to her to ask if she knew about all the different agencies that use Smartsheet, which she, of course, is just ODHS and OHA, and she would know that answer.
Thank you, Joey.
You're always welcome. So again, the reason why we say .gov and .com, which I'll cover later, is because of security concerns. Obviously, when we use software, it has to be, DOJ approved, EIS and OIS approved, and that kind of thing. So all of the things that you see here are the core app from the video. Those all come with a basic license. Premium apps are extra, and they are account-wide. You can't just have one license that has dynamic view in a whole account. Everybody gets it or nobody gets it. And I've seen prices anywhere from $3,000 to $15,000 per premium app per account. So if you are from public health, that's why your license costs approximately $500 a year versus the other one, which costs somewhere between $300 and $350 a year per license, because they use so many premium apps that they've spread it across all of their licensed users. So you should just know that these are all the premium apps. They're fantastic to use, but they're extra money. So I put down at the bottom the premium features, and we can show you some of those if you want during the live demo, but just know that these are extra. They're pretty cool. I always try to show everybody using just the core app. There's a little bit of work involved, but so these are premium, some of the premium apps. Plus, one of the other reasons about Smartsheet being different is there are integrations and connectors. But so here's the thing. I wanted to show you all the capabilities of Smartsheet, even though some of them are not approved by OAS or EIS. So integrations and connectors are one of those. But let's say you have the use to use it in some other outside of the state. Integrations and connectors are very important to understand. So that's why I'm going to have this in here. I would love for them to be able to just approve the free connector for the APIs or for the Teams channel. Well, they haven't gotten there yet. So maybe if some of you start asking for it enough, they'll approve it. So this is another short video. I think it's only 3 minutes on how well it plays with others.
Smartsheet connectors and integrations enable powerful collaboration capabilities by automatically synchronizing data across critical business platforms. In this video, we will highlight some of our most popular connectors and integrations that can get data moving between Smartsheet and the systems you use. Connectors and integrations are two distinct features that Smartsheet offers. Connectors allow data to transfer bidirectionally between Smartsheet and another system. Integrations focus on bringing certain Smartsheet capabilities into another service or vice versa. First, let's take a deeper look at connectors. With connectors, data automatically syncs across platforms to ensure all stakeholders are viewing the most up-to-date information. Smartsheet offers a few connectors, including Jira and Salesforce. The Smartsheet Jira connector provides visibility into IT and software development projects being tracked in Jira. With the connector, issues are automatically synchronized whether edited in Smartsheet or Jira, ensuring every record is up to date. Using the connector, you can create new Jira issues such as stories, tasks, or bugs in either Smartsheet or Jira. You can edit Jira information from inside Smartsheet. And you can track metrics, create automations, and chart within Smartsheet. The Smartsheet Salesforce connector allows users to gain valuable insights from your sales data and drive the execution of work across teams. This connector empowers you to automate and streamline various business processes, such as handoffs between sales and professional services, pipeline review, commission calculations, and territory management. Using the Salesforce connector, you can create new Salesforce records in either platform, edit Salesforce information from inside Smartsheet, and track metrics, create automations, and lastly, chart within Smartsheet. Now let's take a look at the wide range of Smartsheet integrations. Integrations focus on bringing certain Smartsheet capabilities into another service or vice versa. Here you can see some of the most popular of the 100+ integrations available. For communication, setting up an integration with a messaging app such as Microsoft Teams integrates the Smartsheet notification features with the messaging app. Collaboration integrations enable users to access Smartsheet's built-in collaboration features alongside Adobe, Creative Cloud, and digital asset management tools. Integrations can also connect Smartsheet with other enterprise systems. You can visualize Smartsheet data in other platforms, such as Tableau. You can also pull in Tableau and Power BI charts into Smartsheet dashboards and work apps. Security integrations help to keep your data protected. If your IT team is already leveraging a system like Okta to manage users, you can use directory integrations to manage your Smartsheet users. Finally, automation integrations can be paired with Smartsheet Control Center to facilitate complex business processes such as project and services delivery. This allows for automatic creation of project assets when opportunities are closed. Check out the Connectors and Integrations Smartsheet page to view a list of all connectors and integrations, as well as the learning track for additional information on how to get started.
So any questions from that? Probably I wanted to whet your appetite for all these wonderful things that it does. But I will tell you too, this is my personal preference. A lot of like Teams and the Microsoft products that our state has invested in, you'll go see a YouTube video about all the fantastic things that Teams can do, and then you'll come to work and say, all of that is grayed out. So it's got a lot more features, all the SharePoint and Microsoft stuff has a lot more features that we don't have available to us. So the reason I wanted to mention this, so I started a team called OSMART, or the Oregon State Smartsheet User Group. And here is not only the website to it, but you can see here's the SharePoint site. And I blew up this. If you are on a domain that plays well with ODHS OHA domain, you are welcome to join, and you can do that with a team code. So you just go to Teams, select the icon on the right rail, and then when it says new message, join team, drop in this code, and you will automatically be added to the team, as well as have access to all of the presentations and recordings and other files, and the community as well. So this user group, gosh, I started it probably in 2018, and we have about, I want to say 778 members currently across multiple agencies.
And then Jennifer had a question. I don't know if Jennifer Godfrey, if you wanted to ask your question now, or you had your hand up.
Sorry about that. It wasn't letting me come off mute. The integrations with Excel, because a lot of our other team members will be using Excel because they won't have the license for this. And I was just wondering, have you run into this as an issue when trying to create things, or like trying to, integrate the work product of teammates?
So yes and no. Yes, in the sense that, right, we always start with Excel. It's our go-to spreadsheet. And so the question becomes, how do you want to use that Excel? When you talk about integrations, just using the core app, you would have to then, you can pull in or import Excel.
Like extract the data
Exactly,
from that
directly
spreadsheet into a
into Sheet.
Smartsheet. Okay.
Right. And it can pull in multiple tabs as well. If you,
Okay.
now that's a manual process into the core app. There are two features called Data Mesh and Data Shuttle. If you want those to be automatically loaded into your database. And I'll give you an example. One of them, there's a lot of people who track bills during session. And I believe it's Bill Tracker or something like that, but you can export and it comes out into an Excel sheet. But then when you want to collaborate, right, it has status and all that stuff. So if you always downloaded it to the same Excel file, then you can, and you have data mesh or data table, what you can do is just have it update daily.
Like refresh the data, refresh the data set.
That's a premium app. If you want to do it the cheap way, then what you do is you just download it every day. Same thing, you just import it just like it is in Excel. And then all you have to do is take your solution and change the reference from yesterday's sheet to today's sheet. And then everything's up.
And then when you're referencing these Smartsheet sessions, are you speaking about like the ODHS tenant, like our access to like Teams and things like that? Is that what you're speaking about when you're like, if your agency system plays well with others? Are you talking about the tenant? Because I'm over at DAS and I do not believe we have access to the ODHS OHA tenant.
You are correct. I said domain, but I meant tenant. You are correct. So
thank you.
The way that I got around that That's such a great question, because there are so many different tenants that don't play well, right? So what I did was I built this Smartsheet landing page where you can have access to all of the presentations and files that are in our team's tenant. And
Okay.
part of that was because outside entities couldn't get to those. The downside is that the recordings are not available because, when you record in Teams
Yes,
and
yeah.
it goes to your OneDrive, and I tried to attach them to the training workspace, and they're too large.
Okay. And then there is not a system so like in some of the smaller work groups we've had where the ODHS person submitted a ticket and then we were added to their tenant temporarily, like specifically for that team's unit. Are you doing anything like that? Or because of the massive size of it, you're probably just not going to pursue adding people individually to
I
that
didn't
tenant?
even know that was a thing. But if it is a
Okay.
thing and you would help me figure it out, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
And then
Okay, that's your homework.
yeah. Sorry, Tim was having an issue with that session code working, the EWEK1DR. And I don't know how to help with the smart sheet on that. I don't know if that's something that could be addressed here or if it's something that might need to be addressed after the meeting.
So I can show you that's not a Smartsheet thing. That is a Teams thing.
Oh,
So
okay.
that is right.
Okay.
So you go into Teams and then go to your Teams icon on the left side and then click on that. And then you have to go up to the little icon and put in the team code in Teams to join the team. But I can demonstrate that after. So like put that on the little parking lot and I'll show you how to do that in real
Okay.
time.
That looks like somebody else is having an issue, so that demonstration would be great. And then there's a question that maybe really quick you could answer from Susan Mundell. It's how does Smartsheet manage master scheduling?
Oh, that's a great question. There are a number of ways to do that. So there are what's called portfolios available where you create like a template. So you could have a solution. There's only 3 assets: sheets, reports, and dashboards. Everything is controlled by the sheet. I call it the engine, right? Reports and dashboards simply display the information in other sources. So if you wanted to have a master schedule, you could have it's scalable, right? So you could have one sheet, report, and dashboard that is focused on executive leadership. Then you could have another one that is middle management, staff level, et cetera. So I think that is also one of the uh, advantages of using Smartsheet versus other, like Microsoft Project would kind of be the closest thing to it, but Project, to be honest, is so powerful. If I was going to build a hospital, I would absolutely use Project. But now that Smartsheet's made some changes, I might use Smartsheet. But Project is like just a workhorse. Smartsheet is a little more accessible and intuitive and friendly to a person who has a smaller project. So as far as master scheduling goes, there's a resource management piece, and it allows you to do things like work days and dependencies and starts and finishes and those types of things. So project management, they have a whole separate certification in project management based on the PMBOK, which is the Project Management Book of Knowledge. So you can actually get certified in master scheduling, and it doesn't matter if you follow waterfall or agile methodology. So maybe I'll show you resource management. You can actually set even what's it called? Where you have like all of your assets, and it will show you when they're over scheduled or under scheduled, so that you can adjust your assets in a big project. That's a great question. Yeah, okay. So I think this one I did something fancy. There we go. Okay. Smartsheet sessions. For questions like these, we have been meeting. I used to do it monthly, then now I started doing it twice a month. And last year I did a little survey and I said, for everybody, do you want to have basic stuff and advanced stuff, or do you want to have training versus anything? And so a lot of the topics that I come up with are when people ask me questions that either A, I don't know the answer to and figure it out together and it's kind of cool, or I get a lot of questions on it. For instance, permissions and sharing and publishing, people will call me and say, I don't know why the person I sent this to can't look at it, or it's not acting or behaving the way I want it to. So this year, the people who answered the question said, I consider myself basically a starting a brand new person, and I don't know enough about it to really get going. So on the first Tuesday of the month, you can see up here, on Tuesday afternoons, we cover core concepts, and there's homework and assignments, and we basically walk through all of the core apps and features like automations, building dashboards, reports, and those types of things. And of course, it's open to everyone. So I wanted you all to know both PMUG and Bang have listservs because they're official state groups, but Smartsheet Sessions is just a calendar on an appointment on my calendar. And so my apologies. So I used to have it as like a calendar app, and every time I either made a change or responded, it would just blow up people's inboxes. And that might be my mistake. I don't know how to do all that with blind copy and stuff. Anyway, so here's the meeting information for this year. You're welcome to join, but I ask that you put it on your own calendar and share it with others. So the first Tuesdays we do core concepts. That's like I'm new, or I still have only dabbled. And then we have advanced concepts, and those are on the third Tuesday. And I'll give you an example. And then I have the training schedule down here. Here we go. So if you want to know what we're going to cover in any particular month, here's the schedule for 2026. So yesterday we covered web form query strings. And when we did that, it's like sending out a questionnaire, but it has pre-populated information in it. So to support that, not only on the left side of the screen here, you can see links to Smartsheet session files. Down here, we've got web form query strings worksheets that you can use and borrow and copy. And then I also put in here a video that shows how to do it. So in a couple of weeks, we'll have building forms, and forms are very similar to, let's say, SurveyMonkey or Alchemer and Microsoft Forms. And they have the same, I want to say, limitations that Microsoft Forms have, meaning like in Excel, there's a cell character limit of, I believe it's 4,000 characters, it could be 3,000 characters. So for instance, someone will ask me, what should I use for a survey? If you have the need to do a matrix type question, or you want a qualitative open-ended question that has more than 4,000 characters, Smartsheet's not the one. But if those aren't your concerns, you can create a form with logic, skip steps, multiple personalization. You can change the color and logos and everything. They're really, really slick. And then when you combine those with automatic updates, then they become very powerful and easy to create. Plus, you can also translate them into other languages and that kind of thing. You can do it in Microsoft Forms as well, if you need a non-monetary option. Anyway, like I said, these are available to you. When you click on this link up above that has the training, the landing page, you'll have to ask for access, and I will, of course, immediately approve everyone who asks. One of the things that ODHS and OHA have, now that we've been upgraded to Enterprise, is we have access to Smartsheet University. There are two things about our account for the Enterprise level, is that we have access to ProDesk and Smartsheet University. ProDesk is like it's not a help ticket. it's more like you can schedule it with someone. You say, I have this solution. I need someone to help me figure out what's the best template to use. It's not for troubleshooting. It's more for solution design, but everyone gets up to 10 free ProDesk sessions. And then Smartsheet University, what I wanted to show you is when you go to smartu.smartsheet.com and you log in using the regular credential that you use for your account, you can actually select all these different learning styles and categories and difficulty, etc. Then when you do that, it keeps a record of your transcripts. So I just took a snapshot of my transcript right here. You can see here I got a certificate or a badge. Here I passed, and that's all it does, and when and what my score was. If I wanted to, I could then take this transcript and upload it to Workday and say, hey, look at all these classes I've taken. Some of these certifications as well, once you get them, they can give you continuing education credits if you are part of the Project Management Institute. And some of the seminars, they'll give you that code so you can claim those credits, as well as, for instance, the certifications. Let's say you got the Core App certification or the Project Management certification. When you're done with that, not only does it give you a certificate and it shows it here, but then they say, would you like to post this on LinkedIn? And then it gives you an electronic badge that verifies that, yes, indeed, you have this certification and it's valid for a couple of years and stuff. So it's a great resource if you want to learn just from the start and self-paced. I will tell you, when you select any particular class, they all say 2 hours, but it's not true. They don't all take 2 hours. Some of them only take like 20 minutes, just to let you know. Any questions about that? Not that I can see you guys, but who all has access to Smartsheet University? Anybody? Show of hands. No. I love it. Okay, so this was that question. Oh, good. Look at all those hands. Yay. One of the other things I'll let you know on that landing page is that you can access LinkedIn Learning using your library card, particularly if you live in Multnomah County, and for free, by the way. So there are some classes on Smartsheet in LinkedIn Learning in case you're interested. So this was already asked by ODHS, by whoever asked earlier, and this didn't used to be the case, but it is since, I want to say late last year, but it could have been 2024. I get them kind of mixed up. So people would ask me, when would you use smartsheet.gov and when would you use smartsheet.com? Before we were upgraded to the enterprise level, the ODHS OHA licenses were at the business level. Business level is only approved up to level 2. And smartsheet.gov was approved at the time level 3. So the difference is kind of like Microsoft as well, is like the retail version and then the government tenant, right? The GCC. So now that we've been upgraded, the ODHS, OHA, and several of the other ones too are all level 3, and you can use the .com version for PHI, PII. If, however, you have a grant that you're working on that requires FedRAMP approval, then you use smartsheet.gov. The difference is price, users, and features. Smartsheet.com, like I said, is anywhere between $300 and $500 per license per year, depending on your premium features and account. Smartsheet.gov, and does not require minimums, by the way, but Smartsheet.gov has fewer features, not too many fewer features, also level 3, but has that extra little check mark of FedRAMP approval. And it's on a completely separate platform. If you have accounts on both of them, you have to log out of one to log into the other. And so they don't play well with each other. I have been shared to solutions on smartsheet.gov where I've had to recreate a whole new user name and password for the smartsheet.gov platform, just to let you know. So they're somewhat equivalent, and you can ask your system administrator what level you're at. And again, when we do the live demonstration, somebody asked me that, how to find out who your system administrator is, and I'll show you that. I see a hand up. Is that because there's a question?
It looks like it, Christy.
I'm sorry, that was me forgetting to take my hand down after the last question. Sorry about that.
Great. So here is a couple of I did screenshots of ways that we can currently integrate with things we have. So some of them are kind of approved or like a hack or a workaround, and some of them are not. So this is an example of that. For Power BI, if you have an app, okay, so what I did was I went to Teams and then I added the app of Power BI. So I was using what I call Power BI Lite, or the Teams app, the Power BI app in Teams. And then you go to Get Data. And typically it will ask you to open the desktop version of Power BI, which is available to everyone. So this is a no-cost solution, particularly if you need the capability of, let's say, slicing and dicing, or you have a data visualization need that is not available in Smartsheet, or you have a different source of information that you'd like to connect. When you go to Get Data, I just did this today. So when you go to Get Data, there's a couple of different buttons and it'll show you which sources, and you go to Get Data right here and you say New Source. It will list everything under the sun. So the reason I took this here is, see that right there? There's Smartsheet. So you can just get data in your Power BI desktop, open New Source, and if you have a Smartsheet account, then right here, you just click on Smartsheet. It will ask you to log in so that it validates your credentials. And then all of a sudden, you'll have all of your assets in Smartsheet available in Power BI. So I thought that was pretty cool. Then on Teams, same kind of thing. So what you can do for, let's say, dashboards or any asset in Smartsheet, you can share, publish, or embed for any particular item within Smartsheet. So if you took the embed code of any particular item, and for here I had the landing page with the meeting information, and you opened the SharePoint page that is associated with your team, I can show you how to do that as well. Then all you have to do is, when you open the SharePoint page and edit the SharePoint page, you click on the embed widget, drop in that URL, and then all of a sudden, you go back to your team, add an app using the plus mark along the top, and then you add a SharePoint page, boom. Now all of a sudden you have in Teams your Smartsheet dashboard, which is then interactive. So that's a little hack where you can use both Smartsheet and Teams in the same screen instance. As far as connectors, so I'm going like clockwise. I don't know if you can see that or not down here. When you send update requests and ask people to interact with your data, there is an option right here to alert via a Microsoft Teams channel. But sadly, OAS has not approved. So you should just know it's there, and if you can somehow get them to give you an exception, that is an automation that could be very useful. And as far as Outlook, the reason I say it's working with Outlook, again, this is a personal setting, there is a notification bell in Smartsheet, just like in Teams. You know how Teams, when you have a little activity, your little bell goes off? You can modify those any way you want. So you can mute channels, you can leave groups, that kind of thing. It's the same thing in Smartsheet. You have a rail on the left-hand side with persistent icons and notification settings. And one of the notification settings is, every time I get a little note like that, just send it to my email. So it is a one-way type thing in the sense that, so it's not actually working with Outlook, but you can, many of your users, it comes down to user experience and integration. You can have collaborators who never even know what Smartsheet is. And that is with these update requests. It goes to their email and they can look at it on their phone or their laptop or their iPad or whatever. And all they have to do is open their email. It goes to a standalone URL. They don't even have to know that they're in Smartsheet. They don't have to log in or anything. And then all they have to do is fill out the information you're asking for. And I don't know if you can see this, but at the very bottom here, it says submit update. So you can imagine if Excel offered you the ability to send 3 cells in one email where the person did not have to have any type of permission. They just opened their email and they filled in the 3 pieces of information you need, and they just sent it back. That's what it's like. Except for it also has cell history. So imagine you're working on an Excel with somebody and somebody overwrites your information. You have no idea what they changed it to or from. You just know that your link is already broken. In Smartsheet, if you right click on the cell, you can actually follow through all the actions and changes that happened in that cell. And they also have an activity log where you can see everything that everyone interacted with in your sheet since since its beginning. And it actually even also tells you who did it, when they did it, what they changed it from, what they changed it to, and it is downloadable and searchable. So for my little accountability heart, I absolutely love having a trail like that. So this all comes down to user experience and how you want to interact with your audience. These are the agencies that off the top of my head, I know are using Smartsheet just because they've come to Smartsheet sessions. Um, as you can see, they include some counties and other services. And the reason for that is I have presented more than once at the Portland area Smartsheet users group. And while I was there, other people in other agencies, for instance, someone from Pubs came up and said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that you were using it too." And so because we do these Smartsheet sessions and they're open to anyone, Washington County, come on, go ahead. I think Kaiser School District is also one of the ones who comes. Anyway, that's why I put others that I don't know about. If you're not on this list, by all means, please let me know and I'll add you to the list. Yeah, so that was just kind of neat. I know in my account alone, we have hundreds of users. So imagine if you looked at each one of these accounts, there's got to be quite a few. One of the things I wanted to tell you about is the early adopter program. So imagine if a software company was working on improvements, and Microsoft does this too, and they wanted to give you the opportunity to weigh in on that, not only to tell them what you want them to work on next, but also to test it out before it's available to all of their other customers. So it's called the early adopter program. You can sign up as just an individual who's like geeking out on it, or you can have your system administrator apply for your entire account. So I have applied for ODHS, and I'm pretty sure OHA is also on the early adopter program. And so anyway, these are some of the features that might become premium features at some point. I don't know. But for instance, right here on the upcoming, we know what that gives us as a milestone of, gee, I wish it could do X. And so I know you had asked about not executive management, can't remember the word. But so portfolios is in the early adopter program. So if you'd like to see what that looks like, I'm happy to show you. But AI dashboard builder, I have access to that right now because I'm part of the EAP. So what you could do is start a dashboard and you literally say, I would like you to visualize all of the key performance metrics for ODHS for years 2020 to 2025. And then it says, what data source do you want me to use? You point at your sheet or sheets, and it creates a dashboard for you automatically. It's so cool. Dashboard filters as well. So you can create your own dashboard, and then you could put a filter on it that says, I only want to see the stuff that I'm assigned to. Boom, done. They also have dynamic dropdowns. So let's say you want to have a list available in a form for people that is maintained with the contracts from OCNP. But you don't want to have to maintain that list. Well, what you can do is do a dynamic dropdown that points at their chart, whatever theirs is, so because they're going to maintain that list, right? So all you have to do is do a dynamic dropdown that says, make sure that our lists always match. That's a dynamic dropdown. That's like a really cool feature. I'd be happy to show you too when we go to the live demo. Are there any more questions? Am I going too fast? Okay.
I think we're good.
Just making sure. I talk fast when I get excited.
You're okay.
Speaking of that, so there's also a Smartsheet community. So the reason I say that, so, obviously I'm just one person. I mean, I know a lot, but there's still things that even tag me. Sorry, I was looking at tags that still stump me, or that I think I know of, but I'm not sure how to write the formula or something. If you go to community.smartsheet.com and log in, you can then get all of these different things. What you can do is you can put in, I have a problem. Here's what I want to do, and you describe it. So you can say, you see here, I am looking for a fairly complicated formula. I have 2 sheets and a column named actual execution hours in that column. And then you can actually describe the problem, and other people in the community will answer it for you with syntax and everything. It's such a great resource. And you can see that there's popular tags. Let's say you want to build an automation that does XYZ. So you can actually go to discussions or get answers of things that they've already discussed, people smarter than me, and then in addition to that, when you interact with the community and with these other things with the Smartsheet platform, you get badges. So for instance, I think there's my EAP badge because I'm part of an EAP. And there's a couple of certification exams and that kind of thing. And if you want to be an overachiever like me, or a community champion or anything like that, the way to it is by earning badges. And some of it is just answering the question of the month. And some of the questions have been things like, what's your favorite automation? Or what's your most, what's the neatest thing you've done with Smartsheet lately, or something like that. So it's a neat way to kind of geek out about that. So this one, AI use in Claude. So Claude is their version of ChatGPT. AI obviously has a lot of, right, go ahead. What were you going to say? So I know that there's an artificial intelligence ethics advisory committee, which is a statewide thing because I've gone to it. And so I'm not exactly sure about how or when we're supposed to use it, what's okay, what's not. I believe if you limit your AI use to, let's say, formula building and perhaps dashboard building and those types of things, it's probably okay. I think when AI kind of gets us in trouble is when it writes narratives for us without us, it gets dangerously close to plagiarism. So I just wanted to let you know that some of the features in Smartsheet, as well as the future developments, will use AI, and they will be incredibly helpful. And it's not something that we've talked about. So as far as I know, Smartsheet is on the approved exceptions list. It's not on the standard list. So during that change from business to enterprise, they put it on the approved exceptions list so that you don't have to fill out an ITAM or an exception request every single time someone wants a license. That said, because it's not on the official list, we don't get any kind of what I say, software support from OAS. And so AI is very helpful in a lot of different ways. So this is the part where I want to ask people, like, do you have any thoughts or feelings about using AI?
I mean, one thing, this is Tim from OHCS here. We've struggled with Smartsheet and AI in that it doesn't have the ability to turn on or off or monitor or control the use of the AI in any way that we can find. And if you know something about that in an early adopter program or something, if there's something there, we'd be interested. But that's been a problem for us. It's like it's there, we can't control it, we can't limit it by user, by group, by capability, we can't monitor it.
Right, because it's just a feature, right? And a lot of things about Smartsheet are it's all or nothing. Either all get it or none of you get it. And so, but you know, Microsoft products are a lot the same as well. And I know that we've received guidance about ChatGPT and those types of things, or Copilot, right? So, but you're absolutely right. We can't control who uses it or when, or yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that AI has been used, it is being offered, and it's very powerful. And their AI equivalent to Copilot is called Claude. And so anyway, I, like you, also have questions, concerns, excitement, lots of different things about it. So I just didn't feel it was complete without asking.
There are a few comments in the chat.
Oh,
I'll
please.
share. Oregon Education Department says I only use it for generating formulas in the schedule. Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife say they can use Copilot for AI if they use the enterprise.gov version that is locked down. HCS, Human and Community Services, I'm not sure, links to approved housing and community services, links to approved exceptions list, question mark. Not sure what that's referring to. Tim, did you want to expand on that?
Yeah, you mentioned the Smartsheet may be on some kind of approved exception list, and we're wondering what that means. And do you have a link to this list?
Oh, good question. So what that means is, let's see. Let's say your agency has the need to use Miro. Now, Miro is very powerful. It's a terrific app. It's not on the approved list. So the approved list is governed and approved by EIS, which is Enterprise Information Systems, which is over OIS, which is Office of Information Services. So their approved software that like everyone gets is all the Microsoft stuff, blah, blah, blah. Now, if it's on the approved list, but you have to ask for it because there might be a cost, those are things like Tableau, Zoom, maybe a Zoom license, or maybe a Teams webinar license or something like that, right? They're still like within the approved list, but not everybody gets them unless you ask for them, okay? So the approved exceptions list is, I have a need to use, let's say, Qualtrics, because all of the other data collection software platforms for me are not meeting my need. You can actually ask for Qualtrics by submitting an ITAM 075 form, which I'll also show you, to the OIS service desk, I believe it is. That request then goes to the exceptions committee. The exceptions committee talks about it and says, yeah, they have proven that they need this. And so we're going to make an exception and say it's okay that they use Qualtrics in our environment in this one case. Okay, so
Yeah, that sounds specific to ODHS, OHA, as
might
opposed
be.
to these other agencies that go directly to EIS for approval and oversight on these kind of investments. And we interact directly with EIS for that oversight process.
So I wonder if they have something similar. Like, let's say you had to use something that's not in our standard suite. How would you get it? You do an
Yeah. We go through the whole EIS oversight process for all those things. So Qualtrics, for example, right? When every time we go to renew that investment, we review it directly with EIS.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So there you go.
And if
that's
they have a rubber stamp of approval list, I'm not aware of it yet, but I don't know if it exists for statewide. Yeah.
Well, see there, I just learned something new. That's great information. Thanks, Jim. Now I want to show you guys stuff. So I'm going to bring some stuff over. So I said, live demonstration, let's go. There's only one more slide, and that is, here's my contact information. Let's do question and answer. I'm going to get out of PowerPoint here, and let's see. I stopped that. I'm going to bring this over. Let's see if I do this is a little bit of Teams. I'm going to switch if I can. Let me just stop doing this.
So, Joey, you haven't been sharing your screen for quite a while.
Seriously?
Honestly.
Oh, no. Okay, you know what? Why didn't anyone tell me?
I apologize. I
like,
thought you were done with your
listening.
presentation.
Yeah, same.
My gosh, I'm so sorry. Okay. I don't know what happened. Okay, so see, even okay, so I'm not sure where it was. I'll quickly just go through these just so that you guys know. So university, security issues, integration. These are the agencies I know of. You know what we need to add is housing and community services. HCS. Okay, let's see. Then here's the early adopter program with all of the stuff. I'm so sorry. Here's the community thing with all the badges and the popular tags and what it's like to be on the community. Here's the let's talk about it. Let's do a live demonstration. And here's my contact information if you want. So I'll have Amy send this out afterwards, but let's see. Let me come over here. So I'm going to come over here too. Like a demonstration of a few things. So one of the things, of course, is if you have to fill out a form a lot, then this is something that's very similar. So we had over an OHA, if you have to fill out this 0075 software request a lot, here it is. It's out there on the OWL. So you can say, is this for 3 or more? So if you say yes, then you get these pieces of questions. If you say no, then you get this, where it literally, you fill it out, versus like when you go out to the document library for the state and then you have to download the PDF and then you have to fill in the PDF and then save it and attach it and that kind of thing. So what happens when you fill out this form is that when you submit the form, you put in all the same stuff. And then I'm going to close that. Close that. What I need to be doing, I need to share. Who knows how to switch screens here? Because all of my stuff is on my other screen. Okay. So what that does is it goes into the form. So you can see here, there's 314 submissions. You can either open or edit, and I'll just show you what that looks like when you edit. It looks slightly different than, is that allowing me to do it? Oh, look at that. So remember when we talked about permissions? I have been shared to this form, but not at the level that allows me to edit this form. So I must be like I don't know, an edit, just a viewer or whatever. But you can see that when it's grayed out, I don't have access. So I will show you how to find your own access as well as your system administrator. So this is just what a sheet looks like. And you can see that it looks very similar to Excel. but it acts more like access. And so a couple of different things. To find out what your permission level is, you go over to share, and then you look at manage. Now there's two different kinds of icons. One is for the entire workspace. The other one is for an individual asset or sheet report or dashboard, right? So I find my name and I can see that I am at the level editor can share. So I can actually ask for more permission, and it automatically sends that to whoever owns the sheet. Now, if you want to find out the owner, it's always in the top. So Emily owns this sheet, and she's also an admin of the workspace. So the permission levels fall in the level of most can do, and then least can do, and then alphabetical. So this doesn't look like it's in any order, but it actually is. So it's owner, admin, workspace, and then it goes to admin level, and then it drops down to editor, and then it goes down to, so anyway, and it's in alphabetical order. So I'm an editor can share, which does not allow me to change the form, which is up here. But now you know how to update that if you want. Here's the activity log, which is everything. Let's see, I'm just going to change this over here. This is what that activity log is like. So you could actually see on March 10th, Ren changed the item number from blank to item 92860. And then if I needed to, and I had the access, there's also a download button, which is just fantastic for when when you mess things up and you need to fix them. So you can see here, this was an entire submission from Tamby Moore, meaning, and it came in through the form on March 5th at 11:02. So that's a handy feature that I haven't found in any other software. In addition to that, you could also say, let's see, right here, you can view cell history. So this one has not been changed since it originally came in, but let's say this one, oh, so this one was automatically submitted through the form, and then Tamby went in on that same day, 3 minutes later, and changed it to approved. So cell history is like, that kind of sold me versus Excel. Anyway, what happens then is the form gets submitted, so automatically goes to submitted. And then what happens is there's an automation, and there's a ton of automations available. And those then turn each one, I'll just do this one. They turn, if you click on the row menu, that request into, it has a document generator. So it turns into the actual item, which you can see right here, and there it is. It's all filled out, and it's ready to download or sign or anything else. Now, it also has version control. So let's say I have the mapping for MSC 0075 form, and I make changes to it, I reattach it, it has version control. So I could actually take a look at it, and I could see, there you go, upload new version. And it actually maintains all of those different versions. If I wanted, I could send just the file itself, and you can have multiple attachments per row. So in order to find your system administrator, come down here to the bottom left, and here's these personal settings that I was telling you about. Your plan info will tell you who your system administrator is. So that would be this contact right here. It also tells you what level of account you're on. So I'm on an enterprise level, and here's the account name. There's my system administrator. And if I want to get a hold of her for whatever reason, there it is. Okay. Then, in addition to that, under your personal settings here, you can add multiple emails. Let's say I wanted to add my Gmail in here, or I had multiple domains or tenants that I'm working with. You can customize that. You can change your photo, etc. And then under settings here, you can change the autosave. So 1 minute is what I have it in, because I change a lot, but maybe you don't want to change it wherever you only want to have 3 or 5 or 10 minutes. You can modify that. And under notifications, this is what I meant about Outlook. So I like to have, when people mention me specifically, I like it to come to my email too, because maybe I'm not on my desktop, maybe I'm just on my phone. And then same thing here. If someone replies to a conversation that I've tagged them in, I want to know. So that's, but you have to set those to get some of those emails. I do not check this box right here, because if you did and you owned a sheet, it might blow up your inbox. But that's a personal preference for you guys. It also has APIs. If you like and you know how to use API access tokens, you can get those measured. So like Teams, this is your left vertical panel, that these icons don't change no matter where you're in the platform. But on the right-hand side, these icons do change depending on if you're in a sheet, report, or dashboard. So you can have assets that are all the same name, but because of the icon, they look different. So let's say I'm going to go into my favorites here, and I'll go to I'll come over here. Here's that landing page that I was talking about. Here's some of those links that I told you about. So here's the workspace itself. So I can tell that's a dashboard, that's a sheet, that's a report, right? And you can give access to the entire workspace, which is everything within that workspace, or access to a single asset. So this is a folder called Building a Sheet. And the reason I had that was we had in the first session building a sheet and navigation. So we have folder, we have in progress and then final. So here's building the sheet with some instructions and test files. And let's go here. So we had that, and then we went through it in class, and then we had people could then mess around with it on their own and make it look like the final. There you go, payload plan. So that was the homework, was use the in progress and make it to final. So now we are on building automations and forms, and there's our in progress, and there's our final. So we'll have homework for that. Then I'm trying to think of what else that's in here. One thing I did want to show you is the different interfaces that you can use. So here is the grid. Now this is the default view, but it doesn't have to be. There are 7 different views that you can look at all the same information. So grid will eventually be deprecated over to table view, but let me just show you that real quick. It's all still the same information, but it's consumable in a different way. So the reason that you might want it, this all of a sudden, a lot of the stuff is along the top. You can do an analyze data. There's your little AI tool. You can take a look at, you can have different things. If you want to bring up the card or the record itself, you double click on the record and it comes up on the right-hand side. So some people might want to look at it in a vertical card manner. Now, everything is bi-directional. So if I were to go ahead and change this, I could change this to, I could just start typing, and whoever's shared there I am. So I could assign it to myself or whatever, or I could simply do this. And I could call myself out and then write a little message, and then I send that, and it's attached not only to that record, but it also will come to me in my notification bell right up here, as well as in my Outlook. And so depending on how I want to respond, both of those answers will go right into here, and they'll stay with that record. So okay, so that is table view. It's got a lot of great stuff, including, let's see if this is a drop-down box. So I don't want to mess it up, but let's see. So let me show you that. So if this is a drop-down box, okay, this is a column type symbol. Let me just do this real quick. Because I wanted to show you dynamic drop-downs. Unless there's like specific questions, if you guys want to see some cool stuff. Let me go over to favorites, and I'll go into, I'll just do time. I'll go into time. So there's this master time file, which you are welcome to use. And it's just got all of this is a reference table that you can use in some of your functions. So what I'm going to do is add, I'm going to change this to table. And the difference is that table view can handle, I believe it's 50,000 rows. And just want to add a column. And then I'm going to delete it. So it's going to be a drop-down list. And I'm just going to, to be deleted, so to speak. So it's going to be a drop-down list. Now, for some of you who have used Smartsheet, you'll notice that these are 2 new radio buttons. And that's because in table view, you can use dynamic drop-downs. So I'm going to limit to list values because from reporting analysts, I don't want any fat fingering, right? I want to make sure that it's the list that I've got, so reporting stays consistent. Now, I want to link it to another sheet, though. I want to go ahead and look at a different sheet of somebody else's. I'll come over here to, we'll come over here. And here's my alt key codes. And the source column that I want in that is the image. So I'm going to say apply. And now, hopefully, my drop-down list, let's just change. Maybe it doesn't have any symbols in it yet. So when I go back to column properties, I'm going to change it to key code. Let's see if there's some values in there. And let's see, I'm going to change it back to a grid view. Grid view. Let's see if column 39 has some values in it now. There they are. So you can see that I'm not maintaining that list. Somebody else is maintaining that list, and yet I can use it in my thing so that we remain. Okay. So that's kind of an interaction between the different views, right? So let me go ahead and change that. I'm just going to delete it. I don't want to mess anyone's stuff up. And then let's see, we come over here to, I wanted to show you. Okay, so then there's also, you had asked about resource management and time management. Let me take a look at, I'll show you some of the, does that have a start and finish? It does. So this is something I put together for the key performance metrics for ODHS. And you can see here that I have this default at board. This is the grid view, which is how I built it. Or let's say if you wanted to import Excel. But I know that there's a lot of information in here. It's not easy to consume. So sometimes it's easier to look in card view or Kanban or Kanban. And this option is available to you in Teams to look at some of your records like this. So it's a visual representation of your lanes. So right now I wanted to know which of my performance metrics belong in safety or timeliness or service. And then I can change it. So this is very similar to pivot tables in a way. Let's say I don't want to look by category. I want to look at it by program. The same information, but now I have all of my programs. Oh, you know what? Intellectual development, that belongs over in HR. That's as easily as it takes for me to change the record. And so it's visual. Now, the thing that will replace it is called board. So board view is a little more robust. And you can also you can do it comfortable, condensed, wide, etc. You can actually change the settings of which pieces you want to display on each card. You can make them color coded. You can do all kinds of things in your settings for that. Right now I have it at program. Let's say I want it at, let's go sponsor. And that's going to be, so that's the person that is responsible for that data. Oh, Makisha's got a lot. There's Keith. Okay. So if I wanted to, if these were not assigned, they would show up in this sideways one that says uncategorized. Let's take a look. I have some in there. So this one goes to child welfare. So I would just take that over to child welfare. And then there's timeline view. You know what timeline? Oh, here's why I want to do timeline. So you have to do, it's like a Gantt chart, but kind of cooler. So here's a Gantt chart of these, you have to have a start and an end to use resource management and Gantt chart. And so here's just your regular, it's got two different, just like you would in Excel, right? And then you would have your start and your end. This is not a great example. It just has dates in it. So I wanted to show you that. But all of these right here, you can color code them. You can make them bigger, smaller. These are up to years. You can make them, see. And then if you want to see that, you just double click and it brings up the card again. And then same thing here. So Gantt view has resource management. So this is what you were asking about. So you've got time scale settings as well as dependency settings. If you have dependencies enabled right there, they add them so that you can do like a finish to start and start to start or that kind of thing. You can edit the number of non-working days you have, how long they are. When you set your time scale settings, that gives you the granularity of how big or small you want your increments to be. And then resource management has to be turned on. So we are grandfathered in, which is legacy. And then you would have this resource column with percent allocated. So you could, manage all of that through in the Gantt view, and or now we have the timeline view. So what timeline view allows you to do is look at it in a timeline fashion, but it also allows you to filter in, and group what you're looking at. So let's say, oh, I wish I had a better example here of something that's in a timeline, because let's say I want to group them like in a report, and I want to group them by program. Let's just do that. Now, all of a sudden, I have a Gantt view, only it's grouped by all the programs. So now you've got this visual. I only want to look at the ones that are, and I have it that are entered into, that have maybe a category equal to that are safety. We'll do that. So now I have just the safety measures in a timeline view that are in right here. And you can see, and there they are. There's their reporting. And let's say I don't like that. I'm going to go ahead and change it to calendar view. So let's say you have events that you want people to sign up for. Okay, here's all my events, and you can go month by month and you can see all the different things. So we use these like for vaccine clinics during COVID and that kind of thing. And you know what? I really want to know what this older adults is. So if I double click on it, again, it brings up that card, right? And all I have to look at is that record. If I need to modify it right here, I can put, commentary or conversations or, and I see this one has 5 attachments to it. And I see that this one has version 2. Let's just take a look at that. So when you click on that, you can see it's got version 1 and version 2 that was modified in 2 different months. And I can upload a new version. And if I want, I can go ahead and send just this record in email to anybody I want. And I can say, I'm going to send, I don't want them to see everything, but I'll let them see attachments, program, and maybe 2025 data and say, okay. And then you just send it off. So
there is a question in the chat.
Yes.
Is there a difference between the table view and dynamic view?
Yes, absolutely. So dynamic view is a premium feature that many of us have. You know what? And I just looked at the time too. So my apologies if you have to jump off. Dynamic view allows you to present a externally facing or view only. So what I want to show, product, but that's all they see. So I'm just going to go here and show you what it looks like. So I know that here it is. Dynamic view is like, it's kind of like a filterable dashboard where you have one, how do I say, oh, he might have taken me off that. You have one URL And when you share that, you create the view that you want them to see. So on this one in particular, so this one is owned by Women, Infant, and Children. And what it is, it's a dynamic view. So it's one link that everybody gets, and all of the manufacturers who have products that are covered by the WIC program, they would click on this link, and then they would get a list of only their products. And then they would have the ability to edit their products in dynamic view. They can do attachments, line files, that type of thing. And it all goes directly into the sheet without them having access to the sheet. So dynamic view is more for collaboration and for filtering only the things you want other people to see versus the views, like the timeline, the views that are in the sheet, those are the standard core app. Dynamic view is a premium app. So this one is owned by Justin. Just make it appear. So when here it is. So when I say food submissions and when I log in, I don't have any food submissions because I'm not a manufacturer. So this is what I see. But if I was Libby or Nabisco or whoever it is, my list would show up here under dynamic view. How cool is that?
Very cool.
Any other questions?
I don't see any.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and get started with closing the meeting if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Joey. Okay. We hope that you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you all for attending, and thank you to Joey for presenting, as well as thank you to the PMUG planning team, Tiffany Goetz, Amina Foster, and Hillary Olivos-Rude for your help in coordinating these PMUG meetings. I've posted a link to a short survey in the chat that will help us improve future PMUG experiences and to nominate yourself or a colleague as a future speaker. You can look for a follow-up email with links to resources. Please share with your team members and those who may not be on the PMUG listserv to select the link in the chat. If you're interested in becoming an OPMAB member or ambassador, the links are also provided in the chat. And if you're interested in learning more about business analyst processes or Oregon Agile Community of Practice, visit the BANG or OACP websites posted in the chat. And again, please sign up to be a mentor by following the link in the chat. Enjoy the rest of your week. PMUG will convene again in May. Thank you, and we'll have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Amy.